Welcome to IHIP News. Today we have a special in-studio guest, my husband, criminal defense attorney Josh Welch, and he is visiting with us today because Pumps is taking her kids on a holiday vacation and he will be her substitute. We know it is hard to replace the star of our show, IHIP News, but he's going to do his best. Now on with the news. Christopher Wray pre-surrenders to Trumpism. Let's take a listen to this clip and get everybody to weigh in.
After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down. My goal is to keep the focus on our mission, on the indispensable work each of you is doing every single day. And in my view, this is the best way to avoid dragging the Bureau deeper into the fray while reinforcing the values and principles that are so important in how we do our work.
Okay, knowing that Kash Patel is sitting on deck and he's talking about, quote, the best way to avoid dragging the Bureau deeper into the fray, what is your take on this, Pumps?
I think this is the most chicken shit, cowardly bullshit move I've ever seen. He, as we all remember, was a Trump appointee. It makes me think there's something going on behind the scenes with the Kash Patel can't get confirmed, so we're going to do a recess appointment. And if he's already out, we need an FBI director. I mean, I think there's some real, maybe not conspiracy, but there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, because this is an absurd thing to do, particularly in the mindset of, oh, I want to protect the integrity of the Bureau.
Josh?
He sprinkles all these words like integrity as if he cares about the legacy of the FBI. This is the same man that when Justice Kavanaugh was going through the confirmation appointment, helped assist to suppress 4,000 or 5,000 calls that came in about Justice Kavanaugh's character. So for him to use these words like integrity and deeper into the fray and honor, and it's pretty rich. It's pretty rich for a guy like that to say these things and be embedded in all of this bullshit cover up. He should have stepped down, frankly, and resigned years ago. And I do want to add a disclaimer to all of my opinions. I'm not fair. I'm not impartial. I'm none of those things. I don't think that he was ever really the right person for this job, to make hard decisions and to set aside politics. So to say it's rich, it's really, like Pump said, chicken shit.
Well, and let's remember, prior to Christopher Wray's appointment, we had James Comey, who completely politicized the 2016 election. So there's no question the FBI, as Josh is saying, when they talk about integrity and preserving the institution, is somewhat rich. But when you think about what James Comey did and what a grandstander, show off, I mean, pick me, the news, look at me type guy he was, and the damage that he did. And then to Josh's point about Christopher Wray being complicit in a lot of Trump's biggest missteps is so worrisome. Covering up the Brett Kavanaugh stuff is insane. But, we talk about on IHIP News all the time, why do the Republicans, dismiss all of these sexual abuse allegations? To me, it looks like because the majority of the people that they appoint find themselves involved in sexual abuse allegations. And so that's from, who Trump is appointing now all the way down. So it's very disturbing.
It's sound clips like that make people hate politics, bureaucracy. When they start sprinkling all these words like integrity, it's all just bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a grandstanding way of standing up and saying, hey, I'm a good person. The Bureau's good. We did good work. And it makes people who are somewhat objective about the FBI and what it does, it makes them want to vomit, because we all know it's bullshit.
Do you guys think this is a pre-surrender on his part?
I 100% think it's a pre-surrender, and I think it's calculated with the Trump team behind the scenes.
I want to know why it didn't happen during Biden's administration. He should have stepped down. He was ineffective 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm really more curious, why is he still there?
What do you think about, all in all, I mean, the Justice Department's performance during Biden's term has been lackluster, to say the least?
In my line of work, I'm not a huge fan of the Department of Justice and government overreaches. So I've never been a fan of Christopher Wray. The only thing you can ask from our perspective is that if you say something, your words mean something. When they're investigating Justice Kavanaugh's prior allegations of sexual abuse, you would think a law enforcement agency would have some integrity, would actually do their job. But they don't. They suppress to political pressures, and that's where you hear speeches like this that are just a little bit too rich. It's just too much bullshit. If you're going to say those things, then act that way.
Right.
Do those things.
But let's go to the larger point of Biden's Justice Department, Merrick Garland, FBI, and how they handled the Department of Justice after January 6th and after it was discovered that Trump stole classified documents.
Well, most administrations, when you had a previous administration try to overthrow the government, literally have perpetrators rush the Capitol with violent intentions. And then you appoint, as a new incoming president, someone to lead the Department of Justice. You would think, at a minimum, that would be a top priority, to investigate that and to charge the appropriate people. And for some reason, years went by in President Biden's administration. Nothing happened. That's frustrating. That's maddening. Part of that is why we're in the situation that we're in, is because of someone's inability to make hard decisions and do their job. And this was a layup.
Listener, Pumps and I have found the best holiday gift this season. If you are a last-minute shopper, listen to us. Aura frames.
I bought this for my parents, and then I bought one for myself because these are the perfect gift. You have all of your memories for a year in one spot. It's fantastic.
Listener, Aura Frame is named the #1 digital photo frame by Wirecutter. Aura makes it effortless to upload unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone, so your favorite memories are always within view. Plus, you can personalize and preload an Aura Frame for a truly special, unforgettable gift. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off best-selling Carver mat frames by using our promo code IHIP at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code IHIP. This deal is exclusive to our listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply.
I couldn't agree more. I think the Merrick Garland failure as the U.S. Attorney General will go down in history as one of the biggest and most damaging of any AG to serve, because to Josh's point, this was not something they uncovered halfway through Biden's term. This is not something that the January 6th Select Committee stumbled upon and just found in the recesses of the Capitol. This was on TV. Everybody saw it. Classified documents in the toilet at Mar-a-Lago. Everybody saw that. Nobody moved on these things quickly. Finally, they get somebody like Jack Smith. Jack Smith should have been appointed January 21st, 2021, in my opinion. We wouldn't be in this mess. Trump wouldn't be. He would be in jail rightly where he belongs.
We're watching the insurrection in real time, and you're watching people storm the Capitol. And it doesn't take a lot of intellect to figure out that, hey, somebody has told law enforcement and or the military to stand down and let this happen. That doesn't require a lot of knowledge to see that as it's happening, to understand that. So then the next question is, who did that? Who instructed the military and or security and or Capitol Police not to be there? And what's that about? And it doesn't take 2 years if I'm on my sofa watching it in real time, seeing that happen. It doesn't take 2 years to figure that out. We could all figure that out instantly. It was clear everybody was told to lay down, to not be there, to not provide support. And it's maddening.
Okay, now I want to move on to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell recently did an interview where he says America is in a very dangerous world. And this goes to a point that after January 6th, you saw the narrative shift to where people started rubber stamping it, a lot of revisionist history, calling it a dust up. And Mitch McConnell had an opportunity to end Trumpism, and he didn't, twice during both of Trump's impeachment hearings. And now he is sounding the alarm bells and worried about Trump and talking about his slogan and saying it's reminiscent of 1930s Nazi Germany. While at the same time, he says, I voted for the Republican ticket. I voted for Trump. And so the headlines are, here's Huffington Post, Mitch McConnell says Trump win puts Americans in a very dangerous world. And my question to you all is, this headline is so disingenuous, in my opinion, because literally a month ago, he's talking about how he's supporting the Republican ticket. And this duplicity, I think, has caused Trump to get away with crime after crime after crime, the sane washing in the media, even from a left-leaning outlet like the Huffington Post. Why don't we have the word hypocrite? Mitch McConnell sounds like he regrets his vote, ? Something to let the reader understand that this is a complete 180 with his voting record, with his inability to properly impeach Trump for an insurrection. What's your take on this?
I think the headline should be Mitch McConnell's inability to stand up to Trump and be complicit in this puts America in a very dangerous world.
I absolutely agree with that. I like it. I mean, there is no bigger hypocrite on the planet. Mr. I have so much power in the Senate. You did fucking nothing for America. You did nothing for your constituents, but they don't seem to care. So that's a story for another day. But the fact that he went on and on about Trump's involvement in January 6th and did not vote to impeach him, he sucks. And he needs to sit down and shut the fuck up because it's too late. You don't get to come be the hero now. You don't get to sound the alarms now. Why weren't you talking about this during the election? Why didn't you impeach him when you had the chance? Because you care more about your power and your standing than you do, A, your wife, who he was racist towards, and B, the American people. So my feeling for Mitch McConnell, sit down, shut up.
Can't you just draw the parallels between that and Christopher Wray and what he's saying, and you just see their inability to just simply be honest. Mm-hmm. You get up and you can just say things, nuance things, and use these words when you're just lying. You know, and that's the problem with politics. People hear these speeches or they hear these things, and you become so numb to the fact that they're just full of shit. They don't stand up. I would much rather someone, even with whom I disagree politically, have a backbone and a spine and a belief system and stand up for that belief system and not compromise that, as opposed to someone like Mitch McConnell or Christopher Wray, who get up and say these things, make these feel-good speeches or sound the alarm bells, when in fact they've been part of the problem the entire fucking time. They're in it with everybody and they don't want to own it.
Well, I think that this is exactly why people like Trump, because he says all the crazy stuff, he doubles down on it, he triples down on it, and for a lot of Americans that don't pay very close attention to the 24-hour news cycle, they see him as their fighter. Okay, now onto some salacious news. You all have probably seen the video of Trump at the Notre Dame. And sources are claiming, I don't know if this is true or not, so he's sitting in the front row by himself, and all of these French people are giving him very French, snotty, judgy looks, right? And they're claiming that Trump shit himself at the Notre Dame. And we all know that he has bowel problems. This was reported during his trial, where he was found guilty of 34 felonies. And apparently he wears diapers and he shit himself in the Notre Dame, and that's why everybody's giving him the stink eye. What are your thoughts on that? I believe it.
I believe it too. First of all we hear from people who've ever been around him is he stinks to high heaven. Shitting himself would just be right on par with him. And here's the thing. I just don't understand why the people in his inner circle don't help him with that. I guess it goes back to the makeup not blending. Like, we've got to change your diaper before you go in public. We've got to clean your bottom up. You smell. But I completely believe it.
We all know that there's not a shortage of people around Trump that will wipe his ass.
That's right. Exactly right.
So why can't somebody provide that service for him in a time of need, like when he's in France visiting this historic site? If in fact that's true, he needs one of those individuals that is there at his beck and call to clean up his shit, literally.
I agree. He's surrounded by a lot of ass wipers, ass kissers. There is no reason whatsoever that the president-elect of the United States of America needs to sit in the Notre Dame getting the stink eye from a lot of snotty French people, which I support the snotty French,
100%.
FYI. But that he's sitting there in his diaper, soiled, humiliated, and embarrassed. But anyway, I think that's all we have for today, guys. We will see you all tomorrow.
It's so